Are allocated bourbons actually good? We're gonna find out with these four today. Yep, I just freshly cracked and poured these bad boys out. I'm gonna just see what I think of these allocated bourbons. And I ordered them in the order of my own internal hype with least to most over here. These are not reviews, however, and I'm not gonna do a versus. I'm just gonna go worth the hype, worth the hype, worth the hype, worth the hype, or not. Probably not, who knows, as far as the secondary price is concerned. I've got my water, I've got my coffee grounds back here to cleanse the old nose. Just gonna go down the line and see if these are really good or just overhyped because of what they look like or what's on the label. First up, we have a Midwinter Night's Dram. This is from High West. This is a limited engagement. This is 49.3% alcohol. Act 12, Scene 3 of their blend of straight rye whiskeys finished in port barrels. Now this guy, at least for me in the DMV area, it's definitely rare and it's definitely allocated. And I got this for $165 in Delaware, but I've seen these things go for $250 plus. So let's find out right now what this thing smells like. Ooh, and again, I do like my ryes. My ryes are, I think I like them more than bourbons at times. Really nice rye spice forward here. You're getting some of that nice sweet port aspects, cherries, apples, a little bit of tartness. Definitely a little more orchard forward. You're getting some of those dry tannins there. It's drying out the nose. It's very inviting and it's almost at 100 proof. Now again, not reviewing this thing. This is just a barometer. This is the barometer of the first pour of how good the whiskey is going to be. Because obviously, this isn't the final product of what it's going to be after you have it open for a little bit. But definitely, we have to get an idea for sure. I like this nose a lot. Give it a sip. Honestly, wow, not crazy good, not awesome. It kind of falls flat. It definitely has that really nice peppery cinnamon rye spice pop that you get with some of these really good ryes. And I'd have to look at the mash bill on this thing. I don't really know what it is, but it doesn't matter. Actually, it's a blend, so there's no actual mash bill. So anyway, kind of falls flat. The first sip is actually really nice. I get some of those savory, sweet layering there. Little bit of tarty red fruit, like not like an overripe fruit, but just it's there. And then after about, I don't know, 9 seconds, it's gone. And what's left is a little bit of vanilla on the side of my tongue. Doesn't wow me right now, but again, first impression. But again, at 165, was it worth it right now? I don't know. My initial gut reaction to say, is this worth the hype, or at least to be super allocated? I'm going to say no, because I'm going to say just right now that my favorite rye is the Thomas Handy, but obviously that's $400 and kind of not fair. So right now my non-allocated favorite rye is Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof. I think this thing crushes this thing every day. Now, is it better than the $270 Old Carter? I think so, it is. So not worth the secondary hype. But you should find out for yourself. So if you see one for around MSRP or like 180 or under, give it a try if you're curious. If you like ryes, it's not bad by any means. I don't want that to be said, but it is definitely just not worth that super allocated hype that everyone talks up, okay? So just for right now, not worth secondary, but if you're curious about it, grab it for a good price. All right, next up, the famous Weller Full Proof Wheated Bourbon. 57% alcohol, 114 proof, and this one is a single barrel. I got this at LEX Spirits in Beltsville, and I only paid $70 for this, which is really awesome. I have seen secondary price for Weller Full Proof $300 and beyond, and I really don't understand it. Intake 107 is very good and should be 60, 70 max. So I'm gonna pay a little bit more of a premium for a single barrel. I'm okay with doing that. So I got this for a great price. And I haven't had full proof yet. This is literally my very first full proof. Like all of these, I have not had until just now. I want to put that out there. So let's give it a nose, shall we? Oh, okay. That smells very good. I love the Wellers, and one of the main things I like about the Antique is it's so fruit forward, and this is the same mash bill, just a little bit more proof to it. Oh yeah, this is just a nice orchard in a glass. Apples, pears, there's some cherries in here. Not as like red fruit distinctly that I got out of the antique, but still very nice. Just on the back there, I just got some strawberries. I love the wheated bourbons and their fruit profiles. Oh yeah. So right now from the nose standpoint, this thing is super, super good. My goodness, let's give this thing a sip. Ooh. That's a good juice. That's some good juice. I mean, I understand why Weller gets hyped to hell and back, but I don't understand is why some of the prices are like 5x what they should be. That's on the store owners. That's not on Weller or Buffalo Trace or Sazerac, whatever. It's not. It's on them for all the hoops all these store owners have to go through to get the bottle. I understand that point, and they're trying to maximize their margins. But to see this thing $300 is just ludicrous. I think I'd pay like max $120 for this. It is very, very good juice, which I think is the problem. Like, it is good juice. People know that it is, but also just because it has Weller on the front, it just jacked up the price so fast. Secondary worth it? Guys, no. No, but oh my God. The red fruit in this thing is phenomenal. This is good. Okay, that was a sensational bourbon. Do I think it's worth being allocated? Sure, it definitely is. Does the hype match up to the juice? Yes. Does the price match up to the juice? No. But again, that's not the juice's fault. It's the store owner's fault. So the fact that I got this single barrel for 70 bucks is phenomenal. And if you see it for that, buy it, buy it, buy it. The fruit profile in this thing is fantastic. The finish is long. 114 proof is like a perfect proof point for just a really solid flavor profile and not being so powerful that it overbears everything else in the whiskey. So this is just super, super good. My goodness. Yes, worth the hype of allocation, but not secondary price. All right, number 3 is the infamous Blanton's. This is Blanton's Gold. This one is 51.5% alcohol. This was dumped on April 22nd, 2024 on Rick number 51. I got this on thewhiskeyworld.com for $112. And full shipping, it ended up being about like $145 or whatever. So that's just about MSRP. If I see this thing in the States at a dumb price, it's $200 and beyond, like $300 even. Okay, so everybody talks about Blanton's, and I will say it is a very good-looking bottle. You can't argue with that at all. You can't. It's a good-looking bottle. But we care about what the juice is inside. Okay, so I haven't had a Blanton's yet. This is my very first Blanton's. So this is raw, and let's find out. Okay, that's good. That's good. Your standard bourbon nose. A little more fruit than I was expecting. Maybe it's because I got the Weller in my life. Real quick, I'm gonna smell some coffee grounds. Oh. Okay, coffee grounds cleanses your nose. Pro tip. Nah, the fruit's still there. This is definitely more of a tart fruit though. Mix it in with the brown sugar and caramel. A little bit of chocolate there. This is a really nice color too. I think out of all the colors so far, I honestly think the full proof right now is my favorite. Although these are very, very similar. Really nice nose. This has no burn on it at all. You can really get your nose right into the glass, get all up in there, get every single edge of that distillate, and it's very, very good. It's not as caramelly sweet as some bourbons are. This is a lot of fruit character. And I don't know what the mash bill on this is, so I'll look it up and put it on the screen right now, but first sip of Blanton's, let's go. Okay. Doesn't wow me. The fruit disappears on the initial sip. It comes back on the mid palate. It's got a little bit of an edge to the distillate here. It's a little more poppy and like, you know, teeth getting into the tongue a little bit. It's not bad. At least that first sip wasn't. It's just doesn't match the nose, and it's a little more edgy, and it's less proof than this guy, and this had less edges on it. So I'm curious what this next sip is, and even how old this guy is. That was a better sip. Really nice standard bourbon profile here. On the palate, it's not as fruity as the nose is. There's a little bit of that orchard apple in there with a little bit of some cherry syrup. But everything else is your brown sugar, your caramel, a little bit of coffee aspects, some oak spice, a little bit of that leathery note. But is this $300 and beyond good? No. Do I think that this one should be like hyped? Depends on what you want. If you wanted it to like make it look cool on your shelves, this definitely is awesome. If you're buying it to show it off, sure. If you're buying it for the juice inside, I don't think so. I don't think it's kind of worth that kind of like, oh my God, you have Blantons, you have Blantons, you have Blantons, you have Blantons, you have Blantons. Like, I mean, yes, it's the gold, but it's the same thing as the standard, just a little more proof to it. So I would say like max I would pay for what is in this bottle. Like I don't even think this, I know I paid like $110 for it, but this is probably max for me like a $100 bottle. It's decent. It just doesn't wow me. I like the nose way more than the palate. Like way more. The palate is just a little empty, a little one-dimensional. The finish doesn't linger anymore, and the distillate has a little bit of an edge to it. Nothing that I would expect from like an overhyped bottle, and I get it, I really do. But for right now, just kind of on the, if you look at the allocation scale, we'll put it on like that meh side, okay? So that was Blanton's Gold. And last up, we have Russell's Reserve 13-year-old, 57.4% alcohol, 114.8 proof. This is Wild Turkey Juice, named after Jimmy Russell, and it was a lot of people's like top 1 or 2 bourbons of 2024. And I know some people, I think even amongst the whiskey, Scotch Father's friend Nick, he sat down between the 15 and the 13 and took diligent notes, and he picked the 13 over the 15. So that's why this guy's on the end here, because I just have it in my head that it's got to be the best of these. But again, not a versus video. I'm just saying, as far as hype is concerned, people have been highly rating this thing across the board. This is the only one that I overpaid for, okay? I paid, spoilers, $300 for this in Delaware, and that video hasn't come out yet, but I overpaid for this. For me, it's like a content standpoint, but this could also be really good. I think MSRP for this guy, I think the MSRP for 15 is $250, so MSRP for this guy has got to be maybe $175, $200. We'll find out. Okay, so let's get the first nose. Russell's 13. Ooh, my goodness. This guy's rich. This guy's super rich. I already know right now that this is going to be a nice chewy whiskey. I love me some chewy bourbons. Really cherry. Definitely get those 13 years of barrel influence there. But not like a really bad oak spice. It kind of just adds to the fruit. It's almost as if you just like smash a strawberry on top of this barrel and that was what you were smelling. It's there, but it's just not like overtaking the other notes. It's really, really chocolate toffee aspects there. A little bit of like a pecan pie, some almonds, a little bit of nut character there. Oh yeah. All right, sip of Russell's 13. That's good juice. That's really good juice. And again, your brain does have some like preconceived notions of what it thinks stuff should taste like. So I'm curious what I would say in a blind, which I'll do that in the future, obviously. But right now, that mouthfeel was gorgeous for a bourbon. I like chewy distillates. I like feeling the whiskey in my mouth longer than it just like being so thin it kind of disappears. It helps those flavors just go around your mouth and your tongue. That is a very, very nice caramel, sweet fruit bomb that sits on the finish. Tart apple skins and just drizzled caramel on top of that. More fruit on the finish than anything else. And it's a long finish. And I'm getting it right in the front of my gum right there. My goodness. Second sip. That was the best sip of the day. That was so good. The second sips with some of these, why I'm doing two, you gotta warm your mouth up and your palate up for what the whiskey's presenting itself with. And it takes sometimes that second one to really bring it in. Oh my God, this is full. This is rich. It's 114.8 proof, so basically 115, which is about the 1920 proof point, but it's so much richer. It's got so much character on it. That right now is probably my favorite bourbon, and I chose this Neely Farms for 2024. This thing is super, super good. And in fact, I need to look at the barcode on the bottom here and see what release I have. You know what, I'll put that on the video later because it's hard to read right now. Does this whiskey deserve to be hyped? Yes. Yes, it does. Do any of these whiskeys deserve to be secondary price to hell and back so nobody buys them and enjoys them? Of course not. But that's not their fault. It isn't. It's store owner's fault. You guys are assholes. Don't be assholes. You should price things fairly to be able to have a bunch of people come into your store and be happy to get cool things. And they'll, guess what? Continue to come back and support you. What a wild concept that is, right? $300 for this? It's damn good. Is it better than $300 Coy Hill? Yes, it is. But for me, I'm in a different weird standpoint where I buy things because I know that it'll help my content and help everything else. And did I want it? Well, of course I wanted it. But this is definitely damn good. That's probably the max I'd pay for it, but good God, this whiskey is just great. But there you have it. There is 4 allocated bourbons and 1 rye. And whether or not I think they're worth it, as far as pricing is concerned, they're all allocated for a reason. Not sure what that reason is. Hype level that matches the juice, bang. The full proof and the Russells match the juice for the hype every day. It is very, very good. This, and this, no, not. It's not bad whiskey by any means. It's just not matching the hype train that I feel like some of these things have. Again, as far as the shop owners are concerned, I've seen things for this for $300. But hey, if you want to see any of these things go against each other, comment down below. I haven't done a blind versus in a while, so I'm curious what the allocated blind would look like if you guys want to see one in particular. Or just any other kind of like blind challenge. I love doing those things. Those things are great. But if you like this video, give a like, not subscribe yet, make sure you do so. One of the best ways to support me. And as always, I will see you guys next time.